Okay. Namaskar. Today we're in conversation with Piyush. He's a very dear friend, and I've known him for good about 5 years. It's been 5 years, back and
Yeah,
forth.
yeah. We know each other for more than 5 years, but I would say that I came under your wings and properly sort of started doing everything over 5 years now, or 5 years.
Yeah, it's been. I've known Piyush for about 5 years, and I thought it would be very pertinent to share his journey, not necessarily with me and discount everything he says about me, but mostly with the practice and how that changes your life and the quality of life that you have. It's very hard to explain to people, so I thought this would be a good way to share what chanting or charity or temples actually do for you in substantial sense, right?
Right.
So mostly the objective is to share that, and I'll hand it over to you to let's do this. So, Piyush, you want to start with how you came into spirituality? I think it started with your father, right? He's
Yeah.
a very devoted, devout person, and he does a lot. He really does a lot. You
Hmm.
want to start about?
Yeah. I mean, before I sort of bring my father into this, and that's a very relevant point. I want to just spend 30 seconds giving the background as to how I have been or how I was, up until 5 years ago, how I was in the mindset and as a person.
Yeah,
Eh, Having spent 19 years in the professional world, and most part of it was in consulting, especially consulting, one gets to become too logical, to reason and try to ask why and why not, and probably I would say gets even too dismissive so quickly, right? I mean, any incoming positive thoughts, one would probably like to be dismissive about it rather than accepting, because you try and find logic and reason. And I think only when circumstances are beyond your control, when you feel helpless, is when you start searching for something even bigger, even greater than logic.
right.
And I think you start searching for the soul, you start searching for your inner self. And in a nutshell, I would say that the experience with Didi, the way you know uh, Guru has uh, sort of taught us, it's a soul searching experience. Yes, it started with I mean, we have the practice of spirituality at home. My dad uh, does a lot. He reads Shiv Puran, Bhagavad Gita 3 times. He has already done it 3 times. He keeps reading religious text, and keep giving us every now and then advice and what to do. So in terms of the value system, we had it always at our place. But what it really means, and how it can change our life, again, after being qualifying as a CA, and top notch in Delhi, you being in consulting, as I said, you tend to be more on, or maybe it's to do with hormones of being growing up. You tend to be dismissive, and these value, though it is imbibed somewhere, doesn't come out, and you start doing that soul searching. So yeah, I mean, it all started when things go started going wrong, or things start go wrong in someone's life when you start looking for a greater good or something bigger than material things around you. So that's how it started. And I know, Didi, for you for the last 6 years now, but it's an important fact, you know. Again, I know you for 6 years. I met you once, and again, this more professional of me said, no, I don't know whether I can do this. I don't know whether this will help me. Okay, you are a nice person, but you know, so and so forth. And to all of you, I want to say that though I know you for 6 years, it's only past 4 years that I've been practicing, 4.5 years. And it's a complete new me. It's like, you know, Piyush 2.0 version of me after that. So yeah, I mean, that's how it sort of started for me.
So you're saying you started from a place where you were dismissive of something that you can't relate to, or even if you can relate to something which is subtle, which is not obvious, you tend to like, okay, why should I bother about this? Right, because time is precious, I am precious, indulgence is precious. Why should I even care about? Yeah, what you're telling me, you know, don't drink, why the hell should I not drink?
Right.
So you come from there, even though the values are imbibed because you are being brought up in a spiritually inclined family. That spirituality doesn't really express itself in any which way.
Right.
It only expresses itself, or the need for it comes in only when you're going through hard times.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's how sort of I experienced really that, you know, what the level where we are living, everybody probably, there is a level above it, you know. And I think I learned from you that that's the potential, right? I mean, you know, the one of the, sorry if I'm sort of wavering here and there, but I'm too emotional about it, because a guru like you is important, because you know, you can bridge the gap between the spiritual world and the professional world. You really can sort of, you know, people can see how there is a connection between people in professional world or business world and spirituality. It's not two different worlds. Spirituality does not mean you have to wear bhagwa vastra and go to Kailash. That doesn't mean it does not mean that.
Oh, but you are wearing bhagwa vastra and you will go to Kailash.
I love this kurta of mine, so I keep wearing it. But it's basically to mean that you have a soul inside, and when you do this spirituality, and there are different ways and means of spirituality as you taught us. It's not only Murti Puja, and maybe if we get time, we'll sort of delve in details into that. Though it is your area, I don't want to sort of, you know, teach people, but I would encourage them to understand this. But once you start following that practice, how one start realizing the potential, and you know, how one starts realizing that you know, which level were they living and what they are capable of. So that's a very important part, you know, and you know, that's the real big plus point of you being a guru, because you've seen the professional side. You yourself were in that world, and now you are in spiritual space, so you can connect with the students at a, you know, much more you know, I would say you can understand the students in a much better way. And that's what I feel my experience of being.
Yeah, it helps not being just a stereotypical guru, right? It helps.
Yeah, because you know, if you are that, then I mean, with no disrespect to any guru, but most of them tend to tell you, do this or do that, and you will find, you know, or things will happen. And to be honest with you, most of the students or most of the people who go and, you know, visit, they are also like, you know, Guruji, we have this problem. can you give us? So it's more of a doctor kind of, situation where you have a problem and you go to the doctor and seek medicine for it. That's not how it should start. I mean, maybe it can start that way, but that's not how it should sort of continue. Because as I said, when the circumstances go wrong, you seek for greater good. But it should not continue to do that way.
Yeah, it started that way for you, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
Share
if
a
you
little
allow,
bit of the background of that, yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, it all started when both my life on a professional and personal front was, if I may use the word, lack of a better word, screwed. I was too damn nosy, dismissive, arrogant about it. I think being a number one, that's the trait I have. Feel like king every time. I am the right person every time. So it had a lot of problems, and I went through a lot in my personal as well as professional life. And so my wife actually started chanting 2 years before, or 3 years before even I had started, and she introduced me to Didi. And as I said, when I came, I said, okay, this is nice concept. I'll see if I can do it. I started doing it and left. And really, when things really started going really, really wrong, I'll be very honest, I again came back to Didi, and I looked at it as like a, I'm giving an analogy, like a homeopathy medicine, right? It's a meaty goli, or sweet little medicine, with no side effects. So let's do it. If it results if it results in greater things, why not? If it doesn't, there is no side effect.
Right.
To be honest with you, that was a very typical mindset I had. Again, number one, dismissive, and so forth. But I can tell you the way it has changed, and it has done wonders for me. I have realized so many personal experiences how chanting, or different practices, chanting and helping others, or charity, how it has helped me grow as a person, both personally and professionally. I was going through a very rough phase professionally, didn't know what to do. Literally, uh, I used to cry as to what I've done. Uh, but uh, but it brought peace of mind to me. Chanting brought peace of mind. It made me confident. So yeah, I mean, it's a
And
life-changing
you're telling
experience
me
for
the
me.
guy who never compliments anybody actually came and complimented you.
Yeah. I mean, it was really surprising because I know that somebody who never compliments, or who finds it really, really hard to compliment anyone for the good work done, actually said, fantastic work to you. So getting promotions at office, I mean, those are material benefits sort of which comes along, but more than that, I found peace. I realized what the situation is, and I learned how to deal with it, automatically. So, actually, one doesn't even realize how things are changing for you. It's only the benefit of hindsight when you look back and you realize, oh yeah, this happened and that happened, and then you start to realize how, as a person, you have changed physically, emotionally, mentally. Uh, I mean, again, this experience is a soul-searching experience.
Right. So what exactly did you do, and when did the change start? And you're saying that it kind of makes you come to almost a vantage point where you are going through life, and the same ups and downs of life are there, but you are kind of above it. That's what you said. You kind of reach a space above it where it stops affecting you. Right?
Right.
Right. So when did this change start, and what were the things that you were doing in terms of activity? Like, for somebody else who's watching this, what did you do in terms of activity?
So, I mean, I started chanting regularly, if you mean that. I mean, it all started with, the debate which you had at your place, spirituality versus morality. And and one thing sort of which stayed with me, though it was very clear in my head that spirituality and morality are two different things, and there were other people who said, no, if you are spiritual, then you got to be good guy and morally correct, but not really. And one thing which stayed with you taught is that if you are spiritual, then you know yourself better. Like, your body and your soul sort of starts knowing each other better. And then if you do something morally incorrect, then it's really a next level of kind of crime, rather than being immoral when you don't even know what your potential and what your soul is. Then you're doing something which is bad, but which is you're not knowing. And I'm sort of not trying to justify that any crime you do is good or any bad thing you do is good because you don't know the soul. But that rang a bell in my head that, okay, if I am doing something knowingly that I am a good person, and yet I'm doing, or a soul is a soul is a good thing, then, and yet I'm doing something bad, then it's a different level of immorality. And that sort of stayed, and I started doing it. In terms of the practices, what I do is I chant. Uh, I genuinely like to help other people wherever I can. I do some bit of a charity, whatever I can, whatever Didi has taught me to. So these are the practices which I follow. And I know when I started doing Aditya Hridayam, I used to find it hard to do it thrice. Just Aditya Hridayam thrice in a day. It was very, very hard. And Didi also told me that when you will started doing it, and even my wife told me that everything in the world will stop you from doing it. And when I say everything in the world, it doesn't mean your parents or human beings. The circumstances, the negative energies will come and make you stop doing it. But what you have to do is to continue to do it. And today, I'm proud to say that Aditya Hridayam, I mean, in about 2 hours of puja which we do, Aditya Hridayam is one stota which we do. We do a lot of other things like Sahasranam. Really feels good. We started going to temples more regularly, started learning the importance of practices. So another example, Didi, if I could spend some time, and I'm sort of really, emotional about it. At Diwali Puja, typically, as you saw, we had values at home, but we did not know how the practices are. So at Diwali Puja, we used to start with Ganesh ji ki aarti, Lakshmi ji ki aarti, and Vishnu ji ki aarti, right? We used to, but I mean, if I were to say aarti is the final prayer, and we did not know that aarti is the final sort of conclusive prayer for the deity. And we were doing that. So in terms of the practices, we learned a whole lot as to how the puja needs to be done, the correct way of preaching. So a lot of new things, interesting things is what I learned.
Yeah, I never really taught you all of that. You learned it on your own.
Yeah, I mean, not on my own, I would say, because I saw you doing it. I kept bugging you with questions. What is Anchmani? Why do you do this? What is that? And it's my nature. And I
Right.
carried on.
No, you're a good student. You're a good student.
Thank you.
And a good student is a testimony to the teacher, but a good student is mostly good not because of the teacher, but because of their own curiosity and their own willingness to learn and their own practice. So students become good and successful with any Tom, Dick, and Harry as a teacher. Teacher is not important.
Hmm.
What is really important is, do you have the curiosity to learn the right thing? Do you have the ability to capture what is being shared or the right thing when it comes in front of you? Are you able to hold on to it?
Yes.
Are you able to practice that and make it a part of your life? So, no credit to me. Like I said, I never taught you a lot of things that you know today, and you're doing it probably better than me because you're a good student.
Hmm.
And a student doesn't need a good teacher. They're two totally different things.
Hmm. Hmm.
You're just a good student of life. I just happen to be a medium around. So,
You always say that you are a medium, but I always feel that it is important to find the right medium. I mean, guru itself is the medium. You are right, but it is very important, to find the right guru. Uh, uh, and I feel that people do find you or somebody like you who can really teach them and connect them between spirituality, morality, as well as your material world. You have to work and you have to earn, but there is still you can do much more.
right. I think there is a lot of benefit. I have seen the material world and the commercial world, business world. There is a lot of benefit of that comes in understanding what the problems are uh, in the real sense. You're right, and I think it is also pertinent, like you said, that you need somebody. I agree with that. You definitely need somebody. But the job of that somebody is just to put you on the path.
Right.
And you've been experiencing this for the last about
5 years. Yeah.
yeah,
4 5 years.
you can say 5 years. I don't think it's been 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, I've been practicing it, but I think I begin to realize it maybe in the last 3 4 years, maybe.
Yeah. I think a big shift also happened when we took our first temple trip. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Datia, right?
I think we went to Datia and
Yeah,
then
we
it
went
was
to.
followed by
Right.
Hampi and then we went to Tirupati and like it just became another thing. It took another shape and form in your own head. Like
Yeah, yeah.
so you
So
want to talk a little bit
absolutely,
about that.
yes, yes. I'm pretty overwhelmed actually to talk about this. And yes, you are right. Our first trip was to Datia, and I mean, though I knew about matter and consciousness, you taught me, but this trip I realized when we went to the Mendas, to the temple. So basically, Datia, we went to Devi temple, and we went to Surya temple. Devi, one of the forms of Devi in Mahavidya, and you explained us, what is this about, and really, the you 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 feel the energy there, like when anybody goes to mandir, he will, or a temple, he will feel something is uh, there is something different about temple. You feel some positivity, but you don't realize what it is. And when we were with you, all 11 of us, we could feel why temples feel different. There was so much of energy in that space. And I remember in the evening, it was a hard trip for me, by the way. Hard not in terms of, labor or something, but hard because you know, so much of chanting and so much of energy which is flowing in your body. Uh, you know, I can do with less sleep, but when you couple the less sleep with so much of chanting, which leads to so much of energy flowing in your body, you don't know what is happening. You know, like my head. So, by the way, I have gone to Datia twice with Didi and came back, and I have always fallen sick. But it's not in a bad way, mind you, huh? Because I have fallen sick because that sickness has got the toxic waste out of my system. So, you know, the experience, I could feel the energy going inside me when the sahasranams or the chants which I could do normally when I was sitting there or, standing in the queue, it was very, very hard for me to do chanting there because it was so much of energy in that space. And I could possibly, excuse me, I could possibly not assimilate all the energy. And then obviously, there were 11 of us and we were chanting, loudly. So that sort of creates more energy. Uh, it's very different. You experience a very different temple when you chant and when you do it with you. So and I think in a nutshell I would say there was a lot of energy in that space, which you invite and consume for your good. You know. That was that, yeah. And again, when next morning we got up really, really early. And by the way, yeah, one more. Sorry, I'm forgetting the important fact. This was the first ever trip we did with Didi, where my son came along with me, 10-year-old, and he also practices chanting. And I felt that it will be really hard for him to do this trip because there's a lot of chanting and getting up early in the morning and travel and I'm a very protective father that way. I want to give him everything and make him comfortable. And you would not believe, he was absolutely fine. Like the kid who sleeps 9 hours, 10 hours, he slept only for 4 to 5 hours, chanted with all of us, sat through a Shiv Parivar Abhishek. And yeah, I mean, uh, there's no better sight than sitting in a Surya Mandir now, along with your son, and doing Aditya Hridayam along with him, with Didi, in Surya Temple. So, great, I would say great fun.
It's a lot of work. It's hard work.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's hard work. I remember from what you said. No, I remember I used to, even before I started ever chanting, I used to go to temples. Like I always went to temples because there was something that drew me to them.
Hmm.
And before anything else, right? Many, many years ago, I used to go to temples. And I used to hate the pundits because they'd always ask for money and why are we giving them money and this is so commercial. That changed after a bit. I became more sensible and that changed. And then I started giving money to the temple priests because they were doing the puja and then they did the puja very nicely.
Hmm.
And that was good. That lasted many, many years. And then it changed again. Then I actually learned how to do it myself. Because I used to have to stand in a temple for a very, very long time for them to finish the puja.
Hmm.
And I was passive in this whole experience. And that was very boring. While I was motivated to do the puja and get it done right, but it was very passive. And that was very boring. So thank God, somehow the inspiration came and I was able to learn to chant. And then I had the opportunity to go back to the same temples that I had many, many years ago. They were beautiful South Indian temples.
Hmm.
And it was amazing. I was like, for the first time, I can actually do justice to a temple trip. right? For
And
the
I can
first time, I'm
understand.
standing here and I'm doing something about it,
Yeah.
right? For the first time.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, Didi, that, it's important to have a guru because you probably learned it the hard way. You had, I mean, you did it asking questions or, reading and, doing sadhana. But thankfully, we had you who could immediately answer the questions and make us realize what we are doing and why we are doing. And, that's where you change the life. It's not about drawing students. I mean, you're not getting any material benefit, and let me put that on record, that it's not about material benefit. You are doing it to change people's life. And you know when you find the right reasoning or the right guidance, then you tend to follow, because human evolution is like that. You grow learning and accepting things if you want to accept, right? And if you get good answers, and so yes, I can understand how temple trip could be boring for you, and you made it interesting and learning experience the hard way. But for us, you made it really easy for us.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I really enjoy sharing my experiences with you in 3 dimensions. It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of hard work because I've just made that rigor for myself and I put you guys through it. It's
Yes,
it's a lot of hard work, but it's a lot of fun.
you actually make a extra effort to pull everyone up and make us do things which we can't even realize that we could do this. Like, for example, you yourself sent in the WhatsApp group that Piyush and Ritu and so they should do this 1000 step trek to Tirupati. And I said, okay, now that Didi has said, we don't have any choice but to do it. It was a lot of fun getting up in the morning, doing it. It was easy. And I could never think that we could do this 1000 steps approximately in 1 hour. I, when I was telling this to my family that, we will do this, everybody was like, are you crazy? Like, we've been to many trips and shrines like Vaishno Devi where we avoid stairs, and those are 200, 300 stairs. This was 1000 stairs in 1 hour, and we did it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. No, the other day somebody was talking about what if you could choose one superpower, right? And I don't want to pose that question to you. Uh, and I said, if I could choose one superpower, I'd like to go back in time and teach myself. I save myself so much time.
Actually, it's interesting thought.
Right. If I had one superpower, that's what I'd choose. Besides flying.
Actually, it's a very good answer. Even if when you say that, I'll probably do that myself, because I would like to go back in time and correct the way of life, the way I had lived earlier. I would like to again put it on record that I have changed a lot of habits about the way I live, and I don't crave for many things. Uh, and it's really wonders. My parents are so happy about seeing new me, and I myself am happy. I'm not doing this to to show it to the outer world,
Right.
but I feel happy inside.
Right. I think you go through a phase.
Yeah.
Everybody goes through a phase where people don't know what's happening to you. They're like, "What? And are you losing it? Are you becoming a part of a cult? What's wrong with you? Like, are we
Yeah.
are we lost on you? Like, what's wrong with you?" And then slowly, slowly, as the changes start to emerge, as you start becoming a better version of you, they slowly come to accept that, like, okay, this is not a phase, it's not a fad, it's not a cult. He's actually a better person now.
And it's all about practice and making yourself better.
Right. And when that happens, parents do feel an ecstatic amount of pride. Like they're really very, very proud.
Yeah.
And depending on the kind of parent you have, they'll probably not tell you. They'll tell the world.
Yeah. I know. And it feels nice, when you practice this at home, and initially people say, oh, what are you doing? And then slowly they start seeing the changed person. It really feels nice when others in the family start following it. Like, I'll give you an example of my younger brother and his wife. So his wife was always spiritual. She used to do daily puja, and she knew a few things. And again, we had value system, but again, like, me and my brother, we used to never follow it that rigorously. But having seen my dad doing it, having seen his wife doing it, having seen his elder brother doing it, it feels nice. He recently went. It feels nice to see that he recently went to a trip to Somnath and others, and he sent me the pictures in dhoti and
Nice.
t-shirt. Yeah, and then I commented. I said, while you are doing Abhishek, remove the t-shirt. You should take the energy. So again, it feels nice when you draw people toward it for their own benefit.
Right. Yeah, it's quite amazing. So in the last so many years, whatever, what has been the most profound experience that you've had working on yourself,
I
or
mean, yeah.
experience, or an incident, or a teaching, whatever you want to share? Like, just the most impactful thing that you ever came across, and it just the mental light bulbs come on, and or you suddenly see things differently instantaneously. So
Mm-hmm.
all of that in microseconds and small experiences, but what was the most profound one? What was the most one big aha moment?
Hmm. Uh, it's kind of difficult there are many actually, but really to pick one is very difficult. But if I were to, split the events in, slightly material realizations and spiritual realizations, I think the biggest one is in terms of material is getting raise and promotions and in office, uh, and it's not, again, I don't want to give any wrong notions. It's not that you do chanting and you get this. It's not cause and effect relationship. I think when you start doing this, you start realizing your potentials and you start working on it, right?
Right.
So for all these material gains came because of two things. Because I was chanting, I was, and maybe it's sort of hard to digest, but I can tell you, I grew in confidence. I started thinking positively. I always used to say, no, it's not a big problem. It'll come. It'll come through. It'll happen. No problem. Let's try and look for a solution. Like, let's. I had a peace of mind also. So peace of mind, confidence, way of dealing things, and all of that led to those material gains.
Very well put. Very beautifully put. So you went from being a cocky person to being a confident person.
Confident person. Yeah, that's the
It's a big
change.
difference, right?
Yeah,
In one you pretend to be confident and you're not really confident, and it affects everything. And
absolutely.
insecurities grow. And in the other, you are absolutely there, and there is no need for insecurity, and you are able to present your best foot forward, and that's when you actually grow.
Right. Absolutely. And, that's the material growth, which is important to, for one to sustain. If I were to talk about, and this is more important for me, the spiritual experience or the personal experience. As I said, my personal life was also not going really the good way. And if I look at when I say personal life, it's not only a relationship with wife, which or uh, but overall, the way I used to perceive relationship, any relationship, be it with my kid, wife, parents, it was, again, it maybe it was because the way I was, and the spirituality, the practices changed me as to who I was. I would not say that the other persons changed around me,
Right.
because they were not practicing well. I mean, apart from my wife, she's also a changed person, I can tell you. And my relationship with my wife has gone to a next level. My relationship with my kid is at a next level. My relationship with my father, there was always a lock of horns between me and my father, not because we used to fight, but because of different ideology, different way of thinking, and I used to always question. But now I think I'm myself amazed of how beautiful my relationships are. And I also see the difference. So, this is again another thing. We were never convinced of having the second kid in our life. And when my elder son was 10-year-old, we got convinced, and we tried for the second kid, and every
Mind you,
doctor.
I've been telling you for 6 years.
Oh yes, absolutely. And we were so afraid as to how will we do it. And it's only because of you that it has happened, I can tell you. And I'll sort of go in slightly more detail because it was after 10 years of the elder son. Every doctor said that it will be hard for Megha to conceive, right? And it was, I think, Guru Purnima, when she came at your place and met Guruji, if I may use that term, and you, and took the blessing of both of you. And it happened just like that. And I know Gaini was saying she was amazed how did it happen. And then the whole, narrative on a personal front, if I may share that experience. The first was a C-section, and every doctor, every ultrasound clinic said it will be impossible to have a normal delivery after first delivery being a C-section. And you kept encouraging us that go for the normal delivery, and I can tell you that again, it was a normal delivery with no complications whatsoever. It was easy. It was very, very easy for Megha. And so, yeah, many experiences, second kid, how I've changed sort of, in terms of my relationship with others. Again, as I said, there are too many. Like, I'll give you one more instance, Didi, if I'm not sort of speaking for a longer duration.
Go ahead. We
I
can
remember
break it up into 2 pieces.
when Megha was pregnant second time, there was a big lunar eclipse, Chandra Grahan, right? And we were chanting, and it was about midnight. It was a 4-hour duration of lunar eclipse, and we both chanted in one locked room because we were to be inside. And after 4 hours of continuous chanting, I my stomach got upset, and I said, what is this? And then I realized that, again, it's the flushing out of negativity, literally from your body, So I the next day when I woke up, I felt enlightened, if I may use that word. So really great experiences. I was talking about this experience to one of other student, and she's the beginner. And she said, yeah, exactly. You know, when I'm learning, this is what is happening. My stomach is going bad. I said, it'll happen. I know, I have experienced it, and there's nothing wrong. You know, you don't have to go and see the doctor. This is going to pass over, and you know, you will feel. So, and she continues to chant. So many good experiences.
Right, right. It's quite amazing. Well, what next? Going to a different teacher, find a
No,
better guru?
no
You
way.
have to. You have to continue to pursue knowledge.
See, I do, and I firmly believe in that. And you know that, you know, after having spent 12 to 13 years or 14 years in one side professionally, I took a risk and started something absolutely new in my field. Again, with your motivation and my wife pushing me to do that. So I firmly believe that one should always pursue for knowledge. Uh, but as I said, I don't see a need right now. There are many questions which are in my head, which I think you will be able to answer once the day comes when I feel that, you know, you are not able to answer the questions, which I don't think so will ever happen. Then yes, we both will seek for a new good.
That's a nice one. That's well said. Well said. Anything else that I didn't ask you that you wanted to talk about, and we just didn't get there? Um,
And no, Didi, I think I would like to take this opportunity and platform for to just say this message, or to get this message across to people, is that do not uh, do not trade with chanting. So do not. So maybe you can start with this spirituality when you are in problem, like that, like I have. But don't don't do it because you fear it or you want something from God. If you do it as a practice, a belief system for a better version of you will see much more much more benefit, if I were to say that way. So please do seek a guru. It is very important in our system. We had gurukuls. Somehow, with the passage of time, the value and the practices have eroded. I have still seen some gurukuls. I'm really, uh, I would say, uh, uh, amazed to see how practices still continue in gurukuls. I'm very fortunate to have found and seen few gurukuls. So basically what I'm saying is continue the good practices because they are good, not because you want to get out of something. Seek for a guru because it's very important to get right teaching. Like it's like your boss, right? In your office, if you don't have a good boss, you would say, then why am I working in office? If I don't get learning. So pretty simple message. Do continue to do good practices and seek out for a guru. It will really help you in life. And thank you, Didi, for everything, I must say.
hey, sure. I think I will just add like my 2 cents on this. In fact, somebody else, when they said that, thanks for adding your 2 cents, I'm like, that's all that it's worth. But this one is really 2 cents. Guru is important, but the good deeds are more important than the guru, because if you don't have a series of good karma, then guidance will not come to you. You guys are like way ahead of me, because for you, teacher came easy, answers came easy, right?
Right.
I had more bad karma to work out of my system than you ever had to, because you had all the answers. Right from the day one, you had the answers.
Yes.
So it's very important to pursue good karma. And in this forum, maybe I can again reiterate, good karma is Go to a temple or a gurdwara or a mosque or whatever it is that you practice. Practice it wholly, solely, truly. Whatever practice was given to you, whatever practice you were born into, is the right thing. Without it becoming fundamental, whatever is the essence, it's the right thing.
Right.
Practice that. Follow all possible ways in which you can help people. So definitely devote time in physically helping people. Keep time aside for volunteer work. Keep money aside for charity. These are very, very important things.
Right.
If you do them on a regular basis, guidance and knowledge will seek you, will find you, because you're capable. आपके अंदर पात्रता है. You are eligible to find that knowledge. Right? You are a good medium, or you're going to be a good medium. So the universe will invest in you. And teachers, not one, many will come. Many teachers will come. सारे क्वेश्चन के आंसर एक आदमी नहीं देता. Not one person answers all your questions. But that one person's influence will help you find all the answers.
Right. Right. No, yeah, you're right. And
so teachers will come to you only when you do good karma. And good karma is precedence for a teacher. And once you find the teacher, don't even get stuck to that. Continue to do the good karma, because that's the base, that's the foundation. That's what takes you there.
Right. No, I remember when we did this Hampi trip and we went to meet Shankaracharya ji. This is also what he said, parokar, good deeds. That's the essence of it. And he gave beautiful example of how cow and tree, how they do good deeds, without any selfish reasons. So absolutely, again, bang on, Didi, I would say.
All right. It was lovely seeing you. I'm missing you. Let's meet up as soon as possible. 2 weeks here.
We all are missing you.
Okay. And thank you so much for this. I love seeing you in traditional clothes. You look so beautiful, gorgeous.
Thank you.
My love to everybody. Thanks so much.
Okay. Bye, Dee.
Bye.